What's up, y'all? It's your girl King Cat, and I am back. I'm back with another video. I'm back with another look. Like, hello. This video is about to be super cute, super interesting. We're gonna do a bedazzle wing liner. Before we get into the video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into the look. So before we even start, of course, we're gonna have to prime and prep our faces. I'm gonna go in with the Bobbi Brown vitamin enriched face base. Honey, if you haven't tried this, listen, you are missing out. This is so moisturizing. It just feels so luxurious. The only thing that I have on my face is hyaluronic acid and sunscreen, SPF. Sunscreen is like so childish to me. It's like, well, using the word sunscreen, it gives me like little kids vibes. Like, oh, don't forget to put on your sunscreen. Next, I'm going to use the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. I'm just gonna put it a little bit on our ring finger because our ring finger is the weakest finger on our hands. That's what I learned in cosmetology school. So we want to be very gentle with our under eyes, baby, because we don't want any unnecessary aging. Correct? Per usual, I will be only doing one side of the look on camera. Now we are gonna get into the brows. I'm just going to go ahead and comb my brows up. We are going to get into the Got to Be Glued spiking glue for our brows. And I'm just gonna use my hands today because I'm already set up and I don't feel like getting up. I'm just gonna brush up and smooth it out with the finger. I like to wait until the glue kind of dries down to shape the top of the brow, just so that you don't get movement of the rest of the brow. And I like this glue because it's the only product that I can use my brow pen on. The rest of them, like pomades and stuff like that, it doesn't allow the ink from my brow pen to sit on top of it, actually. So yeah, that's why I like using this, in case you're wondering. For brows, I'm gonna go ahead and use my Urban Decay brow blade. I'm going to use the ink stain side of it to draw in hairs. I've been like really into fluffy brows lately. So to carve out the top of my brow, I'm going to use my EIG Show eyeshadow brush in the... Okay guys, so to contour my brows, I'm going to use the p.louise base in the shade Rumour 6. And then I'm going to use my handy dandy EIG Show in number E828. Okay, y'all, this is what I'm using. And this shade is just gonna be for the top of the brow. Well, just the tail of the brow, like literally just right here. And I use a darker shade because I don't want my eyebrows to look super highlighted. And I still want them to look really natural. And for the bottom, I'm gonna use a little bit more of that base, but I'm going to mix it with Rumour 3. So these are the two shades that I'm gonna use, and they're both from p.louise. I'm gonna carve this. I say I'm gonna leave 25% off of the top, and I'm just gonna carve out from the middle to the tail of my brow. Okay, y'all. You know what I realized why my brows weren't laying down is because of that face base. So the face base does have like oils in it. It's very rich, but it's not oily. So yeah, it kind of contrasts the breakdown of the got2b spiking glue. So just be mindful of that if you plan to use that. Maybe you want to do your eyebrows first before you prime your lids. Before you do your eyebrows first before you prime your face. Okay, so I'm just buffing out my concealer. I mean, I cannot talk today. That's why I'm hungry. Okay, I'm using my p.louise number 738 to blend in the lid primer. To set the lid, I'm going to use the One Size Beauty translucent powder and the same concealer brush from p.louise number 738. And I'm just gonna pat that all over my lid. Make sure that your lid doesn't have any creases, because if you put this translucent powder on top of the creases, you're gonna set the creases, okay? Now I'm gonna get into the Makeup by Mario Master Mattes. I'm going to use a p.louise number 299. If you haven't caught on, all my brushes are from p.louise, so yeah. So I'm going to get into this shade and this shade. I'm gonna mix these two together, and I'm going to put this all over the crease. And then I'm gonna just take that shade and kind of blend out where I just put that darker shade. Also too, I'm gonna bring the darker shade all the way to where my brow begins. I don't know why I'm turned like that. Now I'm gonna take the p.louise number 297. So I'm just gonna go back into that shade and just diffuse that brown. And this does not have to be perfect because we're gonna put a wing line over this. Then I'm gonna go into the p.louise 273. And I'm going into this light shade right here, and I'm just gonna put that in the inner corner. You might have to use this shade as well, the white shade. I just don't like using that too much because it's kind of like very bright for my skin complexion. So I'm gonna mix the two, just so it's not too bright. But I'm definitely gonna just use this shade for the lid. And like I said, this does not have to be perfect, guys. This is just so we have somewhat of a background for the wing liner that we're about to get into. Okay, so we're good here. Next, I'm going to get into the One Size Beauty Point Made, and this is just going to be their black liner. This is my first time ever using it, so I'm actually really excited about it. And I'm going to draw a wing liner, but somewhat dramatic, okay? So let me just make sure my And toward the front, we're just gonna make this a really tight line going across the line, that just basically outlining our eye. And then I'm just gonna fill it in. And I'm gonna draw it out just a little bit more. So that's what our wing liner should look like. But then we're gonna take it even a step further and we're gonna draw it in. I messed up a little bit. I wanted it to be more tapered. Okay, take your time with this, guys. Don't rush the process like me. I'm just really hungry. Okay, this is just getting worse and worse. Oh my gosh. So I definitely fixed that part, but now I just have to fix this part. Okay, so this is not the right tool to be doing this with. That is the problem. So I'm going to use the Inglot AMC black liner and a nail art brush to finish off this look. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this out of the pot just so that this doesn't dry out. And I'm gonna make sure my brush is super saturated. And then I'm going to attempt to salvage okay, you see how precise that line is? Okay, so yeah. See, I'm making the mistake so that you don't have to. I might have to draw this line a little bit further down than what I wanted to, just because I did mess this up. Still looks really good though. I'm not even gonna lie. That looks good. So let me just fix this. And then I'm gonna clean that up a little bit later. So let me go ahead and get this other side caught up off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, So now I'm gonna take the Makeup by Mario Awakening Concealer in the shade 420. And I'm going to use that to just straighten out the sides of the wings. Okay. So now our wing eye is sharp enough to kill our haters. And now for the part that I'm living for, Bedazzle. So this packet is so dope because it has more organization than this palette that I used the last time. As you can see, it goes from biggie to small. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna take the row number 7 and start there. And I'm using tweezers to pick this off. Let me just see if these stick without, and they do. Okay, so you see that? It sticks, you don't even need any glue. These are legit, I love them. So I started with number 7. As you can see, that's really big already. And I'm going to take probably a number 6. Taking a number 6 and kind of putting that like right there. So it's like a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna take another number 6 and put that right there. You see? And then I'm gonna take a number 5 and put that on the very end of it right there. And then I'm going to take a number 3 and put that on the very, ooh, these are like falling. And put that on the very little. And then yeah, so I'm just gonna fill in the rest, going from big to small until like, you know, until it gets smaller. This is so cute. Y'all know I love bedazzles. Okay, let me fill in the top. And I will say these are way easier to pick up than the last ones that I used. So I'm kind of leaving gaps because what I want to do is fill in the gaps with like tiny ones from the other palette. So I'm going into the other pack and I'm getting the really, really tiny ones. And I'm just gonna take the smallest ones I can find. And I'm using Duo Lash Glue. And I'm just putting that all over the blank space so that it's easier to fill in. Okay, y'all. So did you see what I did there? Oh my God, let me get these off. And then I'm gonna do one right there and then one right there. And then one last one. Y'all, get into it. Get into it. Yes. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of my gel liner because I don't like that shiny part where the glue dried up, where there's no bedazzle. And I don't want it to be, I want that to be like a matte finish. I don't want it to be shiny like it is right there. So I'm just gonna go over and cover that. You see? And anywhere where it's too shiny, I'm just gonna go cover it up so it doesn't look like something is supposed to be there, but it isn't. But I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Okay? That's fly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side off camera, then we'll go ahead and finish the rest of our face. Yeah, look at these bedazzles. I mean, can you even? Okay, let's get into the foundation. So I'm mixing foundations today. I'm going to be using the Thread Face It in the shade Medium Gold 110. And then I'm going to be using my Forever Skin Glow by Dior in the shade 6N, okay? So I really like the texture of the thread, and as you can see, it is a good shade for me. However, I am a little more warm than this shade, so I'm only probably gonna use 1 pump of the Dior to combat that. But the coverage of this thread is so good, so that's why I'm keeping it in my arsenal, okay? I'm only gonna use 1 pump of the thread, so you see that redness there? That's the contrast that I'm using. I'm gonna use 1 more pump. And I'm just applying this with the same brush that I used to carve out my brows. Now I'm going to get into the p.louise 793. I'm trying to just make sure that this is dry because I just washed my brushes. And I'm just gonna buff this out. Also too, these 2 products work really well together, so be careful around that eye. Blend down into that neck. I mean, these 2 colors just give me the perfect complexion. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go into the Makeup by Mario in the shade 420. This is the Awakening Concealer and the shade 220, so 2 shades. The darker shade is gonna go on the outer corner. From the middle to the outer corner. And then the lighter color is gonna go in the inner corner. Oh, I forgot to give myself some highlight. I'm gonna use a fan and dry down the product so that we get maximum coverage. And then I'm just gonna take my concealer brush. Again, this is the p.louise 738, and just go from the outer corner using like swiping motions. And as you can see, like that product is not really moving, but I'm just more so just blending it out. I'm gonna wait to get into that inner corner nook until the last. I really, really love this concealer. See? And that's how you get maximum coverage. And you do less work because you don't have to blend as much. And go back and forth and back and forth. So I'm gonna do the other side. Last but not least, the forehead. Period. To set my under eye, I'm going to use the Huda Beauty translucent powder in the shade Cherry Blossom. This is pink. And it smells so good. It smells like, what does this smell like? Perfume. Ew. And I'm going to use a powder puff. So before I set my under eye, I'm just gonna make sure that I don't have any creasing, because I don't want to set my creases. And I'm just gonna stamp that in. And typically I would go a little bit lighter underneath my eye, but I've been having like creasing, so. And my eyelids, my under eye naturally creases, so I'm just taking extra precaution with that. And then I'm just gonna take that translucent and go along the side of my nose. And then repeat on the other side. You know, I think I get creasing more so when I don't use a powder puff. So maybe that's why I've been having creasing, because sometimes I will use my brush to set the under eye. And I'm gonna just set all the places where we put that concealer. And then I'm just gonna use my concealer brush to kind of like remove the excess powder. Because I did kind of go hard with that powder. I'm hungry, y'all. I'm telling you, like, I am not in my normal flow. Next, I'm taking the One Size translucent powder in the shade Dark Deep. And I'm just gonna use that same foundation brush that I used to buff everything out. Well, to blend out my foundation. And I'm just going to press that into my skin. And I am gonna just slightly go over the areas that I put the cherry blossom. Oh my God, I look so cute already. Okay, y'all know how I am. Like, once we get to this part, it's a wrap. Like, listen, I'm cute. Like who gon' check me? So now I'm going to use my Fenty Beauty Mocha Mami for bronzer and a p.louise 745. I'm swirling because I'm going heavy. Obviously, my look is already dramatic. So, yeah. And I love to like blend it into my concealer just to give like a super airbrushed look. And this is why I love using powders over creams. So today for this look, I'm definitely not going to use a highlight. No, I'm definitely not going to use blush, but I am going to highlight. Yeah, so let's just finish up the contour. I'm gonna take a little bit more of the cherry blossom and define the contour. So for highlight, I'm using my Star Dipped Face Compact by MAC. Y'all know this is my ride or die. Usually I would use this pink one right here, but instead today I'm gonna use this one. It's falling out. I don't know what shade it is, but just use a gold, your favorite gold highlight. That's literally all it is. As you can see, it's just a gold highlight. That's literally it. It's not like anything too special, but it is gorgeous. Okay. Y'all, I be so thirsty. So now to buff out this translucent, I'm going to use the Sephora Microsmooth in the shade 60 Ebony. It's so hard to get open. I'm going to use my foundation brush, aka the powder brush, and just go over it and buff that out. So I like to use the same brush for all 3 steps when it comes to facial application. And I like to do this step after doing the contour because it kind of melts the contour into the skin so it doesn't look like it's sitting on top of it. Usually I do this step before the highlight, but it ain't nothing to a boss. And then we're gonna take the Microsmooth in the shade 35 Bronze. And I'm gonna use my concealer brush, the one that I've been using throughout this whole process, and just kind of just buff out that under eye, just so everything can melt together. And this really makes a difference, guys. Okay, so now last but not least, for the under eye, I know you guys were waiting for it, I'm going to add a pop of color. This is going to be the NYX Epic Wear eyeliner in the shade Emerald Cut. And I'm just going to add that to the bottom. For those of y'all who don't know, green is my favorite color. So the eyeliner just acts as a base so that when we add the eyeshadow, it really pops. So I'm gonna go ahead and buff out the under eye with using the Tribe by Juvia's. And I'm gonna use Masai, this shade right here, to do it. Actually, I'm gonna use Tootsie and Masai, because Masai is not really showing up the way I want, the way I was hoping. Okay, yeah. And then now I'm going to use Colossal by Maybelline for mascara. And now for lashes, I am using my very own lashes. This is the style Rolls Royce. Get Into It from my collection. And I'm gonna just put those on off camera and I'll be right back. I'm gonna do my hair and yeah, I'll be right back. So I'm gonna add a neon pigment to this. Okay, so I've had this pigment for a really, really long time. I just never use it. So I'm going to figure out what the name of the company is and leave it in the description, okay? But I just want to add a little bit of neon because I just been feeling like real, like creative, crazy lately. So you can obviously skip this step, but I just want to give it just a little more of a pop. And then I'm going to add obviously some more mascara. But I just wanted you to see that part of it. And while we're here, let me just go ahead and do my lips. So I'm gonna use the Bolive Beauty in the shade Brownie Points. Just very simple. My eye is already doing enough. I really want the eye to have a moment. So just gonna do my same basic 2-step. I'm gonna use Cashmere because I feel like it's more flesh tone and I just want the lip to be toned down. I just feel like if you're doing a lot in one area, then everything else should just be kind of mellow. Yeah. And once that kind of mattifies, I'm gonna add a little bit of the my black liner. This is just a basic black eyeliner that I got from the beauty supply store. And I just wanna deepen just a little bit. So, yeah, so it just adds like a little bit of darkness without it being too overpowering. So yeah, so I'm just gonna touch up my hair, throw on my clothes, and then I'll be right back for last remarks. Hey y'all, so thank you so much for watching. This is the final look. Oh, actually, this is not the final look. I have to set my face, so I'm gonna use the One Size On Till Dawn mattifying waterproof. You know, this has been going crazy all over the internet, so let's see what this do. I think I am gonna add a little bit of lip gloss. This is just a beauty supply store lip gloss, so don't even trip, as my mom would say. Okay, so this is the official finished look, okay, period. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the vibe, okay, period. And I'll see y'all on the next one, okay? I love you so much. Bye.